It is not a common time in the Commonwealth. We're just 4 days away from the highly anticipated Pennsylvania primary elections, and for Republicans, a last-minute wild card in the Senate race is causing major concerns among the Republican Party leadership. Most of the race so far has been focused on Trump-backed Dr. Mehmet Oz and former hedge fund manager David McCormick. But conservative political commentator and former radio show host Kathy Barnett has surged in recent polls, leading Trump allies to sound the alarm. They say that Barnett is not a well-vetted candidate. Now, it is true that we have known for months that Barnett is one of the most vociferous sharers of lies about the 2020 presidential election. And now CNN's Kate File has uncovered a history of straight-up bigotry, anti-Muslim and anti-gay statements made by Barnett. This, for example, is what she said on her radio show right after the Supreme Court ruling cleared the way for same-sex marriage in July 2015.
Two men sleeping together, two men holding hands, two men caressing. That is not normal. If love is the litmus test, who are we to say, well, your love is legitimate love, same-sex couples, but your love, father and daughter, is not legitimate? Or your love, one man and three women, is not legitimate? Or one older man and a 12-year-old child? If love is the litmus test, it becomes a very slippery slope. And that is where we find ourselves today.
Also in 2015, Barnett attacked transgender Olympic champion Caitlyn Jenner as, quote, deformed and, quote, demonic, and warned of a, quote, takeover by the, quote, homosexual agenda. Does not stop there, of course. Barnett also frequently shared the insane conspiracy theory that former President Barack Obama is a practicing Muslim. Here's just a sampling of some of those past tweets with phrases such as, he's a Muslim, Muslim Obama, and don't we get it? Obama is a Muslim. And in a speech uploaded to YouTube in 2015, Barnett argued it was okay to discriminate against Muslims and compared rejecting Islam to rejecting Hitler's or Stalin's worldviews.
You are not a racist if you reject Islam or if you reject Muslims, because they are not a race of people. They are a particular view. There are people that have a particular view of the world, and we have a right to discriminate against worldviews. We discriminated against Hitler's Nazi Germany view of the world, right? That was a world view. That's how he saw the world around him. And we discriminated against it. We rejected it. We rejected Stalin's view, communist view of the world, right? Because that's a particular view of the world that we don't agree with.
Just straight up ignorant religious bigotry. Whoever wins the Republican primary on Tuesday is likely to face off against one of two well-known Pennsylvania Democrats, either current Congressman Connor Lamb or current Lieutenant Governor John Fetterman. CNN's Casey Hunt traveled to York County in southern Pennsylvania to see how the race is shaping up with just days to go.
Standing 6 feet 8 inches tall in gym shorts and a hoodie, you'd never assume John Fetterman is a politician, let alone the Democratic frontrunner for Senate.
York County? Is York County a blue county? No!
Greeted like a celebrity at a local bar here, the tattooed Pennsylvania Lieutenant Governor is the heavy favorite to win Tuesday's Democratic Senate primary here in swing state Pennsylvania.
We have to flip this seat.
That will be tough for any Democrat. Just 33% of Pennsylvania voters say President Biden is doing a good job. And because this race could decide control of the Senate, Republicans are prepared to pour in millions of dollars, airing attack ads even tougher than the ones he's faced from his own party.
Republicans think they'd crush socialist Fetterman.
Fetterman supported Bernie Sanders for president, backs legalizing marijuana, and used to call himself a progressive.
You did say in 2021, I've run as a progressive before it was cool to do so.
Yeah,
so why won't you say you're running as a progressive now?
Because the party has shifted to my platform.
Democratic opponent Connor Lamb criticized Fetterman for an incident in 2013 where he pulled a gun on a man who turned out to be an unarmed black jogger. Fetterman has refused to apologize.
I just think that's disqualifying for any of us who have to work hard to gain the trust of the black community.
Fetterman will have to answer for that and defend himself against Republican attacks on issues like abortion, immigration, and crime.
He even wants to reduce jail time for murderers. John Fetterman, too dangerous for Pennsylvania.
You've worked really hard to help free people from prison. Are you concerned at all that your record on that is going to come back to bite you in a general election?
And you know what? If it is, they can bring it on.
Do you think our southern border is adequately secured right now?
I've always been an advocate for a secure border, but a compassionate and common sense immigration reform.
Let's talk about abortion for a second. Do you support any restrictions on abortion?
I don't. I've always believed...
Even in the third trimester?
I believe that choice is between a woman, her doctor, and a God if she prays to one.
Republicans are guaranteed to use his policy positions against him, and the national mood gives the GOP a clear advantage against any generic Democrat. But John Fetterman is anything but generic.
Basic, core Democratic principles. I don't even think they're democratic. I think they're just universal truths. Universal truth, you know? Can you live on $7.25 an hour? No.
It seems like some Democrats before you may have seeded blue-collar voters here in Pennsylvania.
Not this campaign. We don't change our message or we don't pander, but we talk about those core universal principles and values, and we show up in every community, some of the reddest counties. And now in our hyper-divided political world, where it's ultra MAGA or reasonable political beliefs where you can have some mild disagreements, we believe we're going to be coming down on the right side of history and policy, and that's the kind of campaign that we're running.
So whether Fetterman can win a general election will obviously depend on who he ends up running against, as you outlined. But it's also going to depend on how excited Democrats are going to be to get out and vote for him. Black voters in particular are such an important part of the Democratic base in Pennsylvania. And he really may have some work to do there after the attacks from his primary rivals over that 2013 incident with the unarmed black jogger. Jake.
All right, Casey Hahn, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Let's discuss Alyssa. Let's go back to Kathy Barnett, who is surging in the polls and apparently denying that she sent some of the tweets that clearly she sent and clearly fit in perfectly with things that she has been saying for years that are homophobic and anti-Muslim and bigoted in other ways. Are you worried as a Republican who wants to capture that seat? Are you worried about her getting the nomination?
Yeah, and what's happening is pretty stunning if you think about it. There's just been so much oxygen around Dr. Oz and Dave McCormick, and that's where all the focus has been. And then out of left field, this very extremist candidate who frankly makes Oz and McCormick, who have run very, very MAGA, look almost moderate compared to some of her positions, is now surging. This brings back some memories of the 2010 Tea Party wave where extremist candidates, Christine O'Donnell in Delaware comes to mind, got the nomination of the party, but then ultimately lost. I mean, Jake, you're from Pennsylvania. You know the state well. This is a state that has, traditionally had, it's purple in many ways. We forget Donald Trump didn't win Pennsylvania. So running on an extremist far-right platform is not a winning message if you're actually trying to pick up a Senate seat.
Ashley, to go to the Democratic side, it's not difficult to anticipate how that 2013 event from Fetterman's past, where he stopped that black jogger at gunpoint, how that could be used against him in the general election, at the very least to create some lack of enthusiasm for people to vote for him among the black community or anybody else offended by that action.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the incident in 2013 is a terrible one. The person that he held at gunpoint seems to be innocent, and we don't want those type of incidents to happen with police and innocent people or with citizens and another citizen. I do think he needs to get ahead of it now in the primary, deal with it. It's unfortunate that he doesn't want to apologize, even though he's a Democrat. I'm not going to give him a pass on this. Race is an issue within political races for sure. We saw it come up in 2020, and I think it will definitely come up throughout the remainder of the days before the primary on Tuesday, but also in the general as well in November.